Good morning. This is Pastor Cahill from Christ the King Lutheran Church in Lodi, Ohio. I'm here at the church this morning to talk to you a little bit about the health advisory that was issued yesterday, November 18th, by the Medina County Health Department. That advisory urges us to take even more seriously than we have been the precautions that we're being asked to take into account to deal with and bring the coronavirus situation under control. Our county is seeing an increase in the number of coronavirus cases, and that's true of our whole state. And this advisory asks us to be extra vigilant, to be extra thoughtful, to take extra care in thinking about whether we even need to leave home in the first place to do certain things that we come to our minds to do. Here in northeastern Ohio, we're used to all kinds of advisories. In the next couple of months, we'll be hearing something about winter weather advisories, I'm sure, fairly often. We know what winter weather advisories are. They're things that say the weather is going to be treacherous, the driving is going to be problematic, you need to take extra precautions and be extra careful on the road. And here's what I know about advisories. We're used to hearing about them. We're also used to blowing them off. I don't know how many times somebody will be getting ready to leave the house under a winter weather advisory and their spouse will say, "Be careful on the roads, there's an advisory, you know." And the person who's getting ready to leave the house might respond by saying, "It's not me you have to worry about, it's all those other idiots out there." Well, those other idiots are not idiots any more than you or I are. Because here's what I do know that happens in the winter, even for the most experienced drivers. Be driving along the road, a long stretch of road in open country, and all of a sudden a gust of wind will come blasting across the road and pushes your car into the oncoming traffic, just because the road is a little slick. You may hit some black ice unexpectedly and begin to spin out, and so you have to correct that, because you didn't know there was black ice under that coating of snow. You may come to a place where there's a snow squall that suddenly envelops you and your visibility is reduced to 25 feet. And you didn't see that one coming. You're not an idiot any more than anyone else. But we need to take care when we drive in the winter weather that we anticipate and are prepared for those kind of emergencies. That's like what this health advisory is about that the health department has issued. Let us take extra care. Let us be extra vigilant. Let us be extra on the alert for possible times and places in which we might encounter and pick up the coronavirus. Gatherings of people outside your own household. Places in which you might run into people and encounter people who are not members of your household, people whom you don't know what their health condition is either. And here at church is especially critical. Why? Because we love you. We love one another. And we want to make sure that we take good care of one another and exercise significant precautions so that one of us doesn't give whatever we might have to others. We've had those precautions in place at Christ the King for several months. We expect everyone to wear a mask as they're entering the building and while they're in the building. And if you don't have a mask with you, we have extras that you can have. We've eliminated some of the seating in the sanctuary by blocking off about half the pews and encouraging you to sit farther apart at the ends of pews that are available for seating. This means our seating capacity is pretty severely limited. We're not going to limit it anymore. There are some places where the governor has said no more than 10 people. He hasn't said that to worship services, but he has asked us to appropriately limit our seating capacity, and we have done that. Many of you have decided to stay home for the duration, and we appreciate that you're doing that. We appreciate that sacrifice. We appreciate your willingness to help all of us out by doing that. Some of you have asked me if you could have the Lord's Supper at other times than Sunday morning, and you could certainly do that. We have some people who come on Sunday mornings, and I'm not here to tell you to stay away. I am here to tell you, please be sure to exercise even additional caution before you decide to come. We'll still have that Sunday morning worship service with Holy Communion. We'll still have that Wednesday morning worship service with Holy Communion that some of you are coming. We'll still try our best to make sure the technology is up to snuff so that we can live stream those worship services to Facebook at 8:30 on Sunday and at 9 on Wednesdays, and to record them so that you can see them later in the day if you don't have the time or can't watch them at the appointed time. But here's what else we'll do. Between November 18th and December 15th, which is when this advisory is set to expire, I'm going to suspend the Sunday morning Bible class. That will give you and me an extra hour after the worship service. If you would prefer to stay home and watch the service and then come in and receive Holy Communion just with you and your family or your spouse, I'm certainly willing to do that. We did that at the early part of this coronavirus, and I'm willing to do that again. I'm eager to do that. So the Sunday morning schedule from now through December 15th will look like a worship service at 8:30, and between 9:30 and 10:30, when the building is mostly clear, you will have the opportunity to come in and receive Holy Communion. As we did before, we're going to ask you that if you come in during that time and you see more than 5 cars in the parking lot, please wait outside until somebody leaves, and that way we can maintain our social distancing. We're going to end that time at 10:30 so that I can transition to the Sunday school show, which is on Zoom from 11 to 11:30. I'm also going to say that if you want to come at some other time during the week to receive Holy Communion, you're welcome to do that, but please call the church to make sure that I'm here and let us know that you'd like to come. We'll continue to have that Wednesday morning service, but we will not have a Thanksgiving Eve service or one on Thanksgiving Day. We also will not have that midweek Advent worship and evening times, including we won't have worship, we won't have choir practice, and we won't have soup suppers during Advent. The only special services that we'll have in December will be Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We've already talked about having 4 Christmas Eve services, 2 of them on the 23rd of December, 2 of them on the 24th of December, and we're asking you to sign up for those services so that we can be sure that we've got appropriate social distancing and limitations on attendance. Christmas Day is not a sign-up, but it's at 9:30 in the morning, and we have Holy Communion, and we'll do the same thing as we did on Sunday. Restricted seating and Holy Communion. I'm hopeful that you and I together can exercise appropriate caution and appropriate care for one another's well-being. Not only our spiritual well-being, which is our focus here, but our physical well-being also. Up to this point at Christ the King, we have had very few people test positive for coronavirus. Up to this point, among our members at Christ the King, I don't know anyone who's been in the hospital with the virus. And praise be to God, we haven't had anyone die a tragic death because of the virus. Let us do what we can together to keep it that way for the foreseeable future until God in His wisdom and in His love puts an end to this pandemic and brings us again into a place of calm and safety. God bless us, everyone. Thanks.